Hi, and welcome to Your U.S. Visa, where we provide you the immigration news and much more. Asylum in the United States for reasons of drug trafficking and domestic violence have changed a little. Today, I want to give you my opinion on this subject. But before I do that, I want to quickly tell you about the news that prompted me to talk to you about this. Number one, we all have heard of the violence in Mexico due to the drug wars that are affecting areas of the border with the United States. The information we are receiving indicates that a lot of people that have been threatened by the drug cartels are crossing to the U.S. looking for asylum, afraid to face their fates if they stay in the Mexico side of the border. Well, it seems that the immigration courts in the United States are denying the vast majority of these asylum cases, and they are returning these people back to Mexico. We cannot blame the immigration judges that are abiding by the American laws and that are rejecting these petitions mainly on two grounds. One, that U.S. laws state that asylum is granted for specific reasons, like race, religion, nationality, political opinion, and membership in a particular social group. That is a characteristic that is immutable. You can't change it. And two, that the courts apply what is known, not publicly by the way, as internal relocation. In other words, if you are threatened in one place, move to another part of the country. We have to remember that if the courts say yes to one person, this can trigger an avalanche of people that might want to enter the United States fleeing from the bloody drug wars in Mexico. And those people who come to join a country that is at the moment facing tough economic issues with little resources to give people sanctuary. The problem with this philosophy and the decisions of the immigration judges is that they're not seeing the whole picture. What's the whole picture? Let's take Colombia, for example. Colombia is a country that's been under war for 40 years, and the war is based on drugs. Our representative, Lincoln Diaz-Balart, made it clear to the U.S. government that Colombia's war, or drug war, is related to the government's inability to protect those people that are being threatened or persecuted as a result of this drug war. And as a result, the Colombians started winning their asylums because they made it a political matter. They made it a classification of people that was a characteristic that wasn't changeable. What's wrong with the Mexicans? Why isn't the Mexicans under the same scenario? Well, let's go to the second story and then we'll understand what's going on. The second story is the case of a Mexican lady that fled her country in 2004 along with her two children. She claimed that she had been physically abused by her husband. By the way, her husband was in the army. She arrived in the United States, asked for asylum, and it was denied. But now, we should remember that domestic violence is not part of those list of reasons to grant asylum. Since it is very easy to say that you're a victim, and it's very, very tough to prove. If domestic violence was a motive, then we would probably have a horde of people trying to enter the United States claiming that they were subject to domestic violence, and as a result, they must receive asylum in this country. In this case of this lady, her lawyers have requested the case to be reopened. Surprisingly, after many years of battle, the Department of Homeland Security, which heads the Immigration Services, has said that it will reconsider the case since they are now in the process of considering if domestic violence should be used as a claim for asylum. This opens the door to the presentation of appeals and motions to reopen of many cases. Why? Well, simply because this domestic violence was not being able to be controlled by the government, and the government doesn't care about it. In this particular instance, this lady went to the cops, and the cops said, "I can't help you, this is a domestic problem." They are considered second-class citizens. Women are considered second-class citizens in the country. They're not protected by their own husbands. As a result, since the government doesn't get involved in the protection of these people, then they become a class, unprotected people. They become a class, and as such, they are going to be able to receive asylum in the United States. Isn't it the same story with the people who are involved in the border that are being touched by this drug war? The police, the military, the army, they can't control the crime of the drug. As a result, all these people that are being persecuted are in a class of their own, where the government can't control the actual crime, and as a result, they should be able to be classified as a group with a characteristic that is immutable, that you can't change it because the government can't help. Is this right? Are these decisions correct? Remember, asylum is a politically based remedy. The government changes its position constantly throughout. They did it with the Colombians, now they're doing it with domestic violence, and maybe someday they'll also do it for the drug war in Mexico. We'll keep you posted, but you have to concentrate your case when you present it on the fact that the police is not able to assist you in your persecution, and as a result, you deserve the asylum. This and much more here on yourusvisa.com.